this video is being posted, I am not here. I am currently in Iceland, and I've packed my camera bag, in my opinion, perfectly for it. Today, I'm gonna show you what's in my camera bag, but with a bit of a twist. I'm gonna give you some tips and pointers on traveling with your camera gear, specifically traveling when you are flying to a destination, and sort of why I have certain things in my bag. Oh, and before we get into it, all the camera gear that I talk about today, I'm gonna link in the description below. So if you wanna check any of it out, it's down there. Let's just jump right in. I usually do a what's in my camera bag video once a year. I didn't do one last year, which means the last one I did was about 2 years ago. And my setup has changed a lot since then, but the bag has not. The camera bag is the Lowepro ProTactic BP450AW2. I hate that name, but this bag is the original camera bag beast. It's huge, it's deep, I can't say that. It does everything I need it to, so I really have no reason to upgrade this until it breaks. Now on the outside of the bag here, I've got my water bottle holder. Carry this with me pretty much everywhere. Water bottle is a very underrated camera bag accessory. And the other thing on the outside here is my new travel tripod. I actually just got this at Profusion. For the longest time, I was using an aluminum K&F travel tripod, and it got the job done. I used it for years. It was pretty cheap. I would still recommend it if you're on the budget for a travel tripod. It was under $100 for sure, and I got a ton of use out of it. I actually lost it traveling on a road trip, so I decided to upgrade, and this is the Manfrotto Element M2. It is the carbon fiber version, and that's really important. Carbon fiber tripods are a good chunk more expensive. This retails, I think, in the $300 range, but there's a good reason for that, especially if you're carrying your camera bag on long hikes or long walks or just any kind of long distance where you have to have it strapped to you. Carbon fiber is stronger than aluminum, and it's also lighter. When I'm looking at my camera bag around, this is one of the heaviest things in it, so any kind of weight savings I can get, I'll take. Now, I was against buying Manfrotto tripods for a long time because Manfrotto, if you don't know, has a specific proprietary tripod plate that they use. And one, I just don't like how it works, but two, it's not compatible with any of my other plates, which is important because specifically one of the camera bag accessories that I use all the time is this camera bag strap from Peak Design. So I put a plate on the bottom of my camera and it slides right in here and locks in. So when I'm walking around and I'm wearing my camera bag, I can slide my camera on here and it just stays there and I can be hands-free. But Peak Design was smart when they made that because they made that plate fit Arca Swiss mount tripod mounts, which is what most tripods use, except for Manfrotto until now. This tripod came with an Arca Swiss plate, which means I can leave my Peak Design plate on my camera and put it right onto here. This is a really solid tripod. There's a few good carbon fiber tripods in this price range, but I'm really happy with this one. Getting into the bag, up top here first we have my laptop. I just bought this recently. This is the 2013 MacBook Pro 14-inch. Everything here is base model, except I upgraded the RAM to 32 gigabytes, which, especially for video editing, is a nice option. I would definitely recommend. This laptop has been a beast on the go, and it's gonna be great for editing everything while I'm in Iceland. Next are the little things in these pouches up here. I've got earplugs for the plane, microfiber, lens pen for cleaning off the lens, this camera gear multi-tool. It's got some screwdriver bits, it's got some Allen keys on it, it's got a flat head, but no knife on it, which is important because I can easily take it through airport security, and a little keychain flashlight. Then I just have a charging brick and cable for my phone in the bottom pouch there. Now everything that I'm bringing with me is in this bag with one notable exception, and that's my Canon R6 Mark II and my 24-70 f2.8 lens, which is what I'm using to record this video, so it can't be in the bag obviously. But the way I've laid this bag out, I have the top space left sort of for free space. Right now I just have my Anker charging brick in here. This thing is a beast. It's like 8 or 9 years old at this point, but it's 21,000 milliamp hours, which means it can charge an iPhone from dead to 100% like 4 or 5 times. This is great no matter where I'm traveling because it's just peace of mind that my phone is never gonna die. And then the rest of this top space is just used for if I need to put my sweater in my camera bag or I have any snacks or anything that I'm bringing with me. It's always nice to have a little bit of room in your camera bag for non-camera stuff. Then in the main compartment here where I put my camera, I'm really trying to use this space. This camera bag is really tall because it's meant to be able to hold a pro body camera with the full battery grip underneath, but I don't have cameras like that, which means I have a little bit of extra vertical room. So on the very bottom here, I got my SD card pouch with some extra SD cards, which I don't need to use too much anymore because in both of my cameras, I have 256 gig pro grade cards and those last me pretty much all day. Then below that, I have my camera battery charger and a bigger microfiber cloth, which is better for cleaning stuff off. Then behind that, I have my second camera body, my B cam, which is my Canon R6. Now this is something that's not necessarily a must on a trip like this. In fact, I'm debating not bringing it at all just because I don't actually have a use for a second camera body on a trip like this. I probably won't touch it at all. If anything, I'm bringing it as a backup in case something happens to this camera. I can still take photos for the rest of the trip and not miss out on those memories. So that's a good reason to bring a second camera, but you're also weighing the risk of unnecessarily bringing a multiple $1,000 piece of equipment around with you. It could get stolen, it could get broken, it could get lost. For weddings, both these guys are in use all the time. For other things, it basically just acts as a backup in case I show up at a paid shoot and for whatever reason my main camera's not working, I can still do the shoot. The problem with these what's in my camera bag videos is that my camera bag looks very different on any given day because I do all kinds of shoots. I do fun travel related shoots. If I'm going on a big hike or something, I'll pack lighter. If I'm shooting a wedding, I pack way more stuff. If I'm shooting video, I bring more, audio equipment and video lights. If I'm shooting photos, I'll bring flashes and no audio equipment. So that's also why I kind of picked this travel theme for this video because it's relevant because I'm going away, but also this is kind of like when my bag is in travel mode. All right, now there is actually a third camera in my bag, but it's not a regular camera. This is my 35mm film camera. This camera there's a tag in here. My grandfather bought this camera in 1987. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm bringing one lens for it. This is the Pentax 50mm f1.4. This is a really nice, dreamy looking lens. I love it. I've been shooting film a bit more recently, and especially when I'm shooting for fun and time and super high quality and being perfectly sharp isn't a factor. Shooting on film is a really enjoyable experience, so I'm bringing that along too, along with a couple rolls of probably Portra 400 and Portra 160. In this little pouch here, a couple underrated things. I have my Nightcore BB2 electronic blower. This is like the equivalent of one of those like rocket blower things, but it's just battery powered, and I was really skeptical about these things at first, but now that I have it, I use it all the time. And then this is my filter pouch, which contains a few handy filters. First is just a stepping ring. For the actual filters, I've got the Peter McKinnon Signature Edition 2 variable ND. This is 2 to 5 stops. I've got a second ND as sort of a backup ND filter. This is from a company called Haida. It's a 3 to 7 stop variable ND that also has a polarizing ring built in, so I can adjust the circular polarization and the ND in the same filter. This one's really nice for that. And I also have just a plain circular polarizer. No mist filters or anything. I'm not really a mist filter guy, just because I don't like putting that permanent effect on all of my photos. If I want that sort of hazy, glowy look, I usually can just accomplish it in editing afterwards, and then it's not permanently burned in. All right, moving on to probably my favorite lens ever, the 70-200 f2.8. This lens is an absolute beast for portraits. You can get away with doing some wildlife stuff with it. It's really nice for shooting landscapes and getting like cropped in, like you punch in on a certain detail on a mountain or something like that. It's really great for all that kind of stuff. This is a heavy lens, but it's absolutely worth bringing. Next, this is the newest addition to my camera equipment. I've got the Rode Wireless Pros. So this comes in 2 bags. There's a little accessory bag with like cables and dead cats and stuff, and then the charging bag, which has the actual units in it. So in here you have 2 transmitters and 1 receiver, and the case itself is a battery, so you can plug them back in and charge them back up in the case. I just posted a video about these, comparing them to my shotgun mic, which is what I've used for years, and I'm actually, for the first time in 7 years, I'm not bringing my shotgun mic on a trip like this. I'm just bringing the Wireless Pros, so this will be a great test for them. And then the last thing here is my cable organizer. This thing is so handy. I don't know how people don't have something like this in their camera bag. Like, people will just loosely chuck cables and batteries and stuff. This is so nice for keeping everything organized and compact. And I don't know if you can get this exact one anymore. This was just like a cheap one I got on Amazon. You don't need to buy like a $100 Peak Design one or something like that. This was probably 15 bucks and I've used it for years. So first in here, we have this little cable organizer thing. I just wrap up my cables nice and tight. Got some USB-C, micro USB, whatever I might need to charge my stuff. I got it. And then I have slots that conveniently fit my camera batteries. So I carry 2 camera batteries here and 2 more camera batteries here for a total of 4 extra camera batteries plus the 2 in each camera body. Then I also have my charger and brick for my MacBook Pro. And in this little middle pouch here, I can carry an SD card, some dongles, and my external SSD, which is what I use to store everything and edit off of when I'm traveling. So in packing my bag this way, the main things I'm focusing on is packing just exactly what I need, not overpacking, but also trying to make sure I'm prepared for any scenario I might come against, which is kind of a tough line to walk. I definitely packed this a little bit on the heavy side, and that's because I know with this trip, we're gonna have a rental car while we're driving through Iceland, and I know I'm not gonna have to hike too much with my camera bag actually on my back, and if I do, I can take a couple things out. So remember I said I'm not too sure about bringing the second camera body? Well, a great example of what I can do when I'm traveling, if we're driving the rental car to a hiking place, we can park the car, I can take a few things out of my camera bag, leave them in the car or the hotel, and then I have those things that I need in case something happens throughout the trip, but I don't bring them on that specific hike, so I don't have to carry all that extra weight on my shoulders. So for example, if I was going on a hike, I would probably leave the second camera body in the hotel room. I would also 100%, even if it wasn't a hike, even if it was just a walk, I would 100% take my laptop out of my bag. There is no reason to be hauling your laptop around all day. And depending on what I'm doing, I might leave my tripod behind, because although this is a super light tripod, it is still one of the heavier things in my bag, but the tripod would be a last resort. This would almost always come with me. One other cool thing that will not be in my camera bag, but I just have to show you. So you've seen this before. I just showed you this. This is what this looks like. The same company that makes that sent me this, the Nightcore Cinewind. It is a NPF battery powered fan. So check this out. This is low. Let's crank it up. This is ridiculous. I'm probably gonna use it in a studio shoot because it's kind of fun. And one final tip for traveling when you take your camera gear on a plane, unless you absolutely can't avoid it, please carry on your camera bag as your carry-on. I've done this every single time I've flown with my camera gear. My camera bag that I just showed you comes on my back onto the plane. I never check it. The one thing I will say is I'll put my tripod in my checked luggage, because although I've never had any issues, I'm always worried someone's gonna look at that and think it's like a weapon of some kind. And I really don't want TSA taking away my $300 tripod. So I check that in my luggage, but everything else comes in the bag. This is also important because you're not supposed to carry loose batteries in your checked luggage. It's supposed to come in your carry-on anyways. So all my loose batteries and everything are in my camera bag. But that's all I got for you today. Remember, if there's anything in this video that interests you that you want to check out, links are in the description. You can check them out there. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. I will catch you in the next one. Iceland content coming soon. I think I'm just gonna start this whole thing over again. I don't like any of this.